positive about it. Because what happens is we have these anxieties,
come on now,
these worries, and then we don't put action around it.
That's it right there.
That's it. It's like, okay, here's what I'm worried about. Now let me put an action towards it. Because then what happens is when we put an action towards our worries, we feel better about them, right? Yes. We don't like what's going on in the world with police brutality and injustice and racism. So what do we say? We say Black Lives Matter. What do we do? Some people get out there and protest. Some people are donating. Others are using their platforms to bring change. Others are educating, their white brothers and sisters on here's what they need to know. Like, everyone is feeling like, oh, I'm so angry.
Right.
But now I'm putting an action.
Right.
I'm assigning a positive action to those negative feelings.
Yeah.
So that is how I personally have been navigating this time, holding on to my peace, holding on to the promises, the words of Jesus, holding on to that.
Come on.
Lowering the expectation. So I don't expect that, oh, wow, it's supposed to be roses and sunshine. I don't. I understand that there's some things that are going to come to play. And if I'm alive, right now, then that means I am supposed to play a part in this part of the Earth's history.
Love it.
And that peace and understanding is what helps me navigate it.
It's so interesting. Studies show that anxiety thrives on uncertainty and a lack of control. And so when you talk about holding on to your peace, I think that's you taking control of everything around you. And so for me, I know that I was like, well, what can I control? I can control if I wear a mask or not. I can control if I what I cook, what I don't cook, when I go to sleep, what shows I watch, how much news I take in, how much news I don't watch. I played Brighter Day when we started just now.
Yes.
Because it makes me feel good. So I control the music I listen to that makes my mood feel elevated. What songs are you listening to? Super random. What gets you going? I got on the Fred Hammond versus Kirk Franklin chat on Sunday, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was dope. That was a lot of fun. I have a playlist in the morning. I work out, half an hour every morning, nice. Doing jump rope and, bands and all that. And so I have a playlist that has basically, 7 songs from J Moss. And then one song from Rocky, which is Gonna Fly Now, which is my favorite. I love Eye of the Tiger, but Gonna Fly Now is a little bit better for me.
Okay, got it. Okay,
so I'm listening to J Moss, and he has some really upbeat songs from his entire catalog, and I put together my playlist, and I'm playing that every day.
We Must Praise is my joint. Mm-hmm.
I got that. And We Must Praise.
Don't pray and worry, but yeah.
Don't Pray and Worry, Psalm 150, and then usually I end it with Gonna Fly Now, which is just the ultimate motivational song for me.
I love it. By the way, once again, for anybody tuning in, I'm Aaron Bernard. I'm a life coach. I'm talking with the man himself, a man with many awesome hats, Devon Franklin. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the question box. I'm sure Devon and I would love to answer some of those. So click on that little question box. We'll answer it. In a few, we're going to be bringing on licensed clinical social worker, Siobhan Gabriel. I knew her as William. She got married. So Siobhan Gabriel, she's my childhood Brooklyn friend, and she'll be coming on here after Devon. And so please don't leave, by the way. One thing I also love, Devon, I've seen you and Meagan doing this. You guys have been cooking.
Oh, yeah.
What dishes have have you been making? And what's some of your go-to stuff that you've been making? Because I don't cook, but COVID is turning me into a Chef Boy on Aaron, and I love it,
I love it. We've been doing pretty much the go-to is probably just some the vegetarian tacos, with the vegan meat stuff. We've been doing that. That's pretty much easy. Just go in there, hook it up.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that. And then she's been cooking everything from eggplant parmesan, which is really good, to this chicken dish, to a chicken gumbo, to enchilada pie. I mean, she's been going in. She's just been learning a lot. And then usually I'll handle the desserts. So cakes.
I seen you doing the desserts. I was like, Devon is making these pastries. I was like, okay.
Yes. I did a Krispy Kreme bread pudding. It's been crazy.
Krispy Kreme. Okay. I feel like if you leave some at your door, I'll come get it. You know what I'm saying? I'll pick some up. I actually, so I'm not vegan, but I'm trying to be more plant-based. And so, I eat, only certain kinds of meats. And so I made a vegan lasagna that came out pretty good. I'm really proud of my vegan lasagna. Well, it was vegan for the most part. I forgot. I didn't know butter wasn't vegan. I've been learning. So, but, so I got some vegan butter now, so I'm ready for the next batch, you know?
Yes. Anything from a cow, you know, is...
I mean, I didn't think about it because, you know, you just naturally just used to throwing stuff in there. And I was like, dang, I did good. I got vegan cheese. I got vegan everything but the butter. So soon I'll make that. But I made some ground turkey lasagna, some vegan lasagna. I've made like a bunch of different salmons. It's been amazing. Mashed potatoes from scratch. So we out here trying to be Chef Boy or Aaron, you know?
I love it.
I love it too. So, you know, what comes to mind? I know there are a lot of people that, because this is like a new, I'm going to shift again, there's like a new wave of crisis and like heavy energy. Some of their coping skills haven't been working. Like, they're like, okay, jogging, I can't jog because there's a curfew at 4. Tonight it's at 10. But like, what coping skills have you found helpful in this process, just keeping you going?
Yeah, you know, I think for me, you know, it's probably a few of them. One, to really just going back to the feeling, being in touch with how I feel.
Okay.
You know, like, okay, you know what? Feel a little anxious right now. Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
You know, okay, all right. You know, I'm a little worried. I'm a little fearful. I'm excited. Like, the coping, you know, if you're not acknowledging what you're dealing with, how are you going to be able to cope with it? You know, and so that's when we go back to this denial and suppression and all that, right? It's like, no. Because I see
people talking about drinking way too much.
Because here's what happens, though, right? What happens, you know, look, I don't drink, right? I'm not against those that do. I don't drink. I never have. It's not my thing. What I would say about drinking or any substance is that any vice that we turn to cope sometimes drowns out the very thing that needs the most attention in our spirit.
You're saying it, speaking truth.
You know, so it's like if I'm drinking and I'm over drinking, then what happens is it drowns out the very thing that needs the most attention. So it's almost like, you know, you go to the doctor and you know, you have a pain in your leg, right? But you're focusing on so many other things that the thing that needs the most help, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And so when we try to talk about coping, we have to resist the temptation to use any vice to cope. Any vice. Because that vice becomes a crutch.
Right.
And that crutch becomes a dependency. And that dependency can affect all of us in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Some people can drink. It's not a problem. My father was an alcoholic, right? He was an alcoholic. My uncles were alcoholics. My grandmother and grandfather, my father's side, were alcoholics.
Wow.
So I made the decision. I wasn't going to do that because I just didn't want to. I wanted to break the cycle. I'm not afraid of alcohol at all. If God told me to, you know, it's fine, go, okay, I would consider it, but I don't feel a need to or release. But the point the point I'm getting at is this, which is we have to resist anything, whether it's watching too much TV or scrolling on the internet or too much social media, that coping mechanism that is not aligned with our truth mechanism.
Okay.
Like we gotta be honest.
One more time, say it again.
I said we can't allow our coping mechanism that's not connected to our truth mechanism.
Wow.
Right? So I'm not saying coping is wrong. We all have to cope when we're going through different times. I'm just saying sometimes we cope at the expense of truth. Right? We cope at the expense of acknowledging, I'm not doing good right now. And it's okay. We put this burden on ourselves that we got to be superwoman, superman, that we got to and if we feel bad, something's wrong with us.
Just human.
That's not true. It's life. It's
life.
We're spirit and flesh, right? We don't get to walk through this in a way where we don't feel, right? If we're not just spirit, we are flesh too, right? So that means sometimes we're going to feel what we're going through, and that's okay.
Right.
Too often we put this pressure on ourselves. And this unnecessary expectation, I got to be strong. And if I don't feel good, something's wrong. No, maybe the fact that you don't feel good is actually good.
Right.
It's good. It's like, okay, wait, I'm here's why. Because I'm connected. I'm feeling what's going on. I'm not in denial. Okay, good. That's a good, look, you're the therapist. You know, that's good.
It's great to feel.
to feel.
Something's coming up, yeah.
Yes.
I
So
love it.
when we feel, right, when we're in touch with that truth, okay, then it's like, okay, well, what are the healthy ways to cope? So getting back to that, right? So the ways that I've tried to cope, I've tried to cope through working out. I've tried to cope through reading. I've tried to cope through educating myself on what's going on. I've tried to cope through, we've been able to have a lot of Zoom calls with my family, and that's been really great. Building that sense of community. I think community is a really healthy way to cope and navigate any challenges that we're facing. I've coped through, just reevaluating, what things in my life were working before the virus and what things weren't working that needed to change. Right. And being okay with that, so it's really been a combination of a number of things that have allowed me to cope. And yes, of course, I'll watch TV and stay in touch with what's going on, in the world, and watch, shows and whatnot. And obviously I'm on social media. The only thing that I'm saying is, like, when those things come in, of it is like reprogramming our mind. Reprogramming our mind. The book is a lot about self-revelation. Yeah. Because sometimes we're trying to become something instead of allowing life to reveal who we already are. Yeah. It's about learning to live in the moment. Okay. Setting an intent and then trusting God for the how. Because so often we're like, oh, I'm making it happen and I'm doing this, and we're stressing ourselves out over something God already has. Yeah. It's like, cool, if God has called you, to be a therapist, all you got to do is keep showing up, right? Keep going to class, keep showing up. Right. Eventually it's going to happen. And so psycho-cybernetics, that people were asking for the book, psycho-cybernetics. And so it's been a very deep book. Got it. And I've been going through this book, and it has been, blowing my mind, because one of the other things in the pandemic that I was doing at first, and I worked on it, and I'm still working on it, which is I had such a strong routine before the pandemic. Right. But during the pandemic, it's like, I'm trying to control and get back to. And then what I realized was no, I got to do this. I just got to I got to release. Yeah. Got to release. I got to let go. And I got to stop living like this. I got to live more like this and like this, so that I can surrender and then receive. And that surrendering, okay, God, whatever the plan is, let me surrender to this moment. Let me surrender. I can ask for this virus. You clearly have a plan. We can't get back to work. Let me just surrender. But then also let me receive. What do you want me to know? What do you want me to know about myself? What do you want me to know about life? What do you want me to know about others? And so reading this book has been one of the things that has helped me. Right. Someone said, being a control freak. Yeah, I mean, seriously, I think we all have an addiction to being control freak, right? So I'm the poster child. So reading this book, among others, have really helped me learn the process of letting go and surrendering and trusting and just committing to the process by living in the moment. I love it. I saw something. I said this in a previous live, but there was a study. They said, instead of doing, how we do New Year's resolutions, and we have these goals we're going to work on. Everyone right now, I believe, pre-COVID and George Floyd, we had certain goals that we were working on. And so what I've been working on, instead of New Year's resolutions, I've been doing COVID resolutions. I had to surrender, hands up, and create new goals. And how am I going to come out of this? What can I take control of? What am I going to work on now that's going to affect me later? And so I've been reading certain books too, listening to certain music, and working on those different, tools as well. So I think that's dope. Thank you for the book, by the way. So, of course, I can't. Let me know what you think as you go through it, man. That bad boy is deep. If it's an audio, I'm gonna do it. I'm an audio. I think there is an audio book. I'm reading it because I like to highlight and I like to take notes and all that. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate the love and support. I mean, I'm doing prayer live tonight in a couple hours on Instagram at 6:00, and I've been doing that, pretty much every week during the pandemic, and just bringing people in and hearing their their issues, giving some advice, and then also praying with them. And that's been going great. We get people from all over the world that tune in and that come into the live, man. It's a very powerful community that is starting. So doing that, I got so many movies, but the two ones that are getting ready to go into production are, I'm doing a movie on Flamin' Hot Cheetos, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. The creator of Flamin' Hot Cheetos is a Mexican janitor.
Okay.
And he worked for Frito-Lay, and he came up with this product. And long story short, it catapulted him from being the janitor to becoming vice president of multicultural marketing.
Wow.
His story is like unbelievable. Eva Longoria is directing it.
Oh,
and,
wow.
We're putting that together as we speak. And then I'm doing a movie called Dare to Live for Paramount, which is based upon a true story of these 4 Black women that do extreme adventures to face their greatest fears in life. So everything from skydiving to driving NASCAR to whitewater rafting to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And so you have all these Black women doing these things that most people don't think Black women do.
Right.
So that's coming. That's